Who's taking? Who's giving? Let's talk about it. Real people, real voices.
Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, Reverend David W. Green Sr.
And I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore. Bam.
So good to be with you, Dr. Moore, once again.
It is, man. It's good. Always, you know what, Doc? It's always good to be in your presence and to be able to do work with you in the community. And not only that, but be right here on this show.
Tell us about our sponsors.
Well, our sponsors today, there it is, Concerned Clergy of Indianapolis, Baptist Ministers Alliance, Tomiko and Associates, the Realty Group there, and His Place Eatery, Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes, Marion County Public Health Department. We also have North Side Window, Gutter and Cleaning, and Marion County Sheriff's Office, Rodney Stepp, Music Production, Lavinia Summers, Home of Funerals. That's where we are.
Well, we're thankful for our sponsors, and we're thankful for all of you joining us on this evening. I want to encourage our listening audience to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, because there you can go back and access any of the great information that we've shared from the previous shows. And we've got a great show in store for us all on today. We have in our studio somebody who's been out working in the community, who's an entrepreneur who works in the community. We were fortunate, Pastor Moore, to be able to spend the last few weeks out in the community. And that's what we love to do. Your organization, the Baptist Ministers Alliance, and mine, the Concerned Clergy of Indianapolis, we like being out. So we got a host. We've got somebody who's going to be with us on today who's going to be talking about real issues and real choices. And her name is Miss Katina Washington. We're going to take a break, but come right back and we're going to hear from her.
Let's talk about it. Real people, real voices. Real people, real voices.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're happy to have with us on today the founder and CEO of the She Event, Miss Katina Washington. Miss Katina, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
We're so glad to be able to, you're with us on today. We want to really begin with, tell us about what exactly is the She Event? What exactly what does your organization do, so that our listeners will be aware of the difference you're really making out in the community?
Okay, thank you. The She Event is simply a business accelerator. We help Black-owned businesses to excel and to get connected with the resources that they need to be sustainable.
And what motivated you to start something like this incubator movement for diverse companies?
I would say that it was birthed out of a need in my own community, to have access to these resources. So I use that as a blueprint.
Now, what impact have you seen on the community as a result of your efforts in this area?
We started out with 3 businesses that were part of the She Event. She initially stood for Shoes, Hot Accessories, and Eats. So it wasn't always She Has Everything. So with that, there were 3 of us entrepreneurs, and we had an initial event, had about 75 guests there, and from then it grew. We have now over 258 businesses who were part of it this last She Event, and then we have over 5,000 to 6,000 guests that come through.
Can you walk through how people can become part of the She experience?
Sure, absolutely. We provide training every Wednesday for businesses who want to get involved. They can go to our website, www.sheexperience, which is HEXPERIENCE.org. Okay, and just jump on the website and get connected. We will meet you where you're at. Wherever your business is at, we'll meet you there.
You know, it was extraordinary. Dr. Green and I were able to be at a real live, it was the first one I've been to, She Event, and it was a great privilege to be there and to see all of the acceleration of businesses that you call the acceleration of businesses. And to be at the fairgrounds is a very, very, I think, intricate part and important part of the move that you're trying to make in the city. How did that come about?
Well, we started in a home. And then we went to Clubhouse. We went to Douglas Park, Watkins Park. Then we started doing a collab with Indy Parks. We did Little Bethel Community Center for about 2 years, and then we outgrew that and we went to the YMCA. And then I had this idea to have it at Lafayette Square Mall. So I partnered with them to have the event there. We had 176 businesses there. We packed out the mall as if it were in the 90s, right? And had a huge impact on the businesses who are normally there as well. They had a lot of new business because of us hosting it there. And so went from there, Lafayette Square Mall, and we were like, it's just growing too big. We need another place. So I reached out to the fairgrounds, and it was not easy. You know, it was not easy at all, but they allowed us to have it there. We had it there. It was successful. And we had it during COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to do a lot of things I had not done before, like come up with the emergency plan for, COVID, and none of us knew anything about COVID.
Right.
But came up with it. They allowed us to have it there. It was successful, safe, and they came back and said, hey, we want to partner with you the next time. So they were actually our partner this time.
You think that's going to happen again next year, hopefully?
Yeah, they already want to partner with
that's
us. They
great.
want us to be part of the fair, actual fair.
Really?
Now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think you'll go that far?
I'm not sure if we're prepared, because you do have to have a lot of merchandise, and I mean, that's a lot
how
of
many
commitment.
days? 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And a lot of our businesses have regular,
Yeah.
jobs, 9-to-5 jobs.
Right.
So we'll have to figure that out and see if it's
That'll be
we're
at least you
able
need
to
to
do
do a
that.
few days at the fair.
absolutely.
It seemed like it would be a great opportunity. Now, are your organizations that are part of this, they all out of Marion County? Are they coming from, where are they coming from?
Yeah, some of them come from out of state. They've heard about the She event. Some come from Illinois, Ohio. We've had a wide range, wide reach, when it comes to the states around Indiana. So the businesses, they're coming in, and a lot of people are learning and finding out about the She event and want to be part of it, and they're willing to travel.
Yeah.
So
Now, obviously, people are now seeing the success that you've had, but can you back up and help our audience about maybe some obstacles you've had to overcome or challenges you
absolutely.
faced? Because sometimes people see the success and they don't necessarily understand the struggle it took, what people went through to experience the success they're having now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, it was red tape even getting into the fair. And now, we have a brick and mortar location downtown. So a lot of things I had heard about on TV, when it comes to like systematic racism and things like that, I've actually lived it, as being the president of the She event. There's a lot of obstacles. While COVID had a lot of bad things that came along with it, there were a lot of good things that came along with it too as well, because it opened us up to receive a lot of resources that we didn't know about, and help us to overcome a lot of obstacles that we had. But great thing about it is, once upon a time, there was this pastor named Pastor Green
All
who
right.
told us not to allow our, adversity to become our university.
Right.
So things like that linger in my mind.
Good.
And it helps me a lot. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to know that I've
Thank you.
invested and I'm seeing that play out. with the She
Absolutely,
event.
I
absolutely.
like that. Don't let your adversity become your university.
Yeah, that's what he said many
Can't get,
years
that's not
ago.
a good degree, is it, to get, is it, Dr.
No, you don't want to get a degree from that. But I'm happy to see that
Yeah.
Miss Katina is doing so well and from afar watch the whole experience grow, changing from one location to the next, because you're outgrowing it, not because you simply want to, quote unquote, have a bigger venue. You had a need for a bigger venue, and so God has really blessed you and given you favor to do that. Can you talk just a little bit before we take our break about your brick and mortar location and what's going on there?
So we acquired the well, we leased a space there at Circle Center Mall, the old Victoria's Secret and Pink location. It's about 9,048 square feet. We offer training there every Wednesday for businesses. They can come in and get free training because we want to build sustainable businesses. You know, we don't want, you know, our people to go around, you know, having a hustle and calling it a business. We want it to be professional. We want you to be registered, you know, with the state. We want you to have a POS system. You know, we want you to offer customer service at its highest level. So all of those services we provide there in the brick and mortar. And it is cooperative economics in action. It's all of our businesses coming together, creating a department store.
Well, we want to take a break right there. We'll be right back after these messages because we want to help the entrepreneurs about the future. What does that look like?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it. Real people, real voices. Real people, real voices.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, Reverend David W. Green Sr.
And I'm the co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we're so happy to have with us Miss Katina Washington discussing the She event. Now, I got a question for you before we get to the future of how you see things playing out. What has surprised you most about the success of all of this?
The success. What surprised me the most, of course, it's always surprising to see a business move from behind a vending table to a brick and mortar and things like that. But when it impacts your own household, you know, like for an example, my daughter, she's performed at the She event every year, you know, so putting her up on that stage and now seeing her on Broadway, it's like, I mean, I just can't believe it. I'm so happy for her. Seeing my daughter Brandy behind the table, you know, and now seeing her in the top 15% of realtors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In Indiana, it's like mind-blowing because I was a single parent, you know? And so to give my kids that platform and to see them doing what they're doing, and my youngest daughter, the manager of the store, like, I'm so thankful and grateful for that. And it's probably impacted me the most.
Good. Family right there. So they're experiencing the blessing. So that's been awesome. Now, as we look at the future, because you're in the community, you're consistently talking to various business entrepreneurs, those who want to be entrepreneurs. How do you see the future? What do you see coming, that is coming or needs to come? What's your perspective?
I see, because a lot of our Black businesses are setting up their products and things like at vending events mostly. I see in the future us having brick and mortars. You know, like what I've done at the She Experience, it's never been done downtown before. They've never had that many Black-owned businesses downtown at one time.
At a major piece of real estate.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we have history of Indiana Avenue.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, we've allowed over 100 businesses to come through the She Experience and set up there in a brick and mortar, which is something a lot of them have done.
Given the history, you're definitely right. The Indiana Avenue, there are some who've able to do it in strip malls and things of that nature. But Circle City Mall, when you say Circle City Mall, those type of amount of businesses in that particular mall, Circle City was intentionally designed for that not to happen. Wow. But when you have vendors that leave and you have square footage, you're gonna have to do something to fill that square footage, and you've been successful at that. So you've been successful at that. And I think if you really look at it, when the 9,000 square feet is at capacity with businesses, you can truthfully say that on that particular day that you had in excess of 35, 40, 50 Black businesses that were open in the downtown Indiana area, which has never, never, never happened in the history of this state.
In the history,
you never looked at it that way, have you?
In the history of this state, like it's never happened. Actually, we surveyed 1,000 people, and 930 of them said they hadn't even been to the mall since the 90s. So we know we are a huge asset to that mall. We know we offer something that's really unique. A lot of our products are handmade, and we have a wide variety. Like, it really is an experience when you come through there. It's like a museum almost. We have Black art on the walls that were painted by Black artists. Our candles are hand poured by Black people. Our perfume, everything is like made, not everything in the store, but all of our handmade items are made by Black people.
Yeah. And I think that's important for people to understand and to see the movement, not only the movement, but the advancement in a time like this, Dr. Green. I mean, when there's so much unrest.
Yeah.
And yet we still see the She event moving in the 13th largest or 13th or 14th largest city, and looking at between 50 to 60 to 70, 80 businesses on any given day in the downtown area, which represents more businesses of the other culture on that particular day.
Yeah. And it's a safe space.
Yeah.
It's a safe space. We had a gentleman come into our store who went to prison when he was 16 and he got out when he was 25. He spent 9 years there, and he loved art. He loves to paint and all that stuff. We allow him to paint in there, and guess what? He comes in there, sells his art, hasn't been in trouble or anything like that. So we're fighting crime too. We're reducing crime. So yeah, he's been there. He's obtained his CDL now. He's driving for Indico. He's doing really well. And so we're like a family there. We're a support system. We're a family. We have wraparound services, that are offered to individuals who come in there and want their own business. So it's not just selling merchandise and services. It's a whole movement.
Not a moment.
Yeah.
That's good.
And Sister Katina should be applauded because that's a unique program.
Right.
You couldn't follow a textbook and they would say this would work.
Oh, yeah.
She stepped out in faith and has experienced favor here in growing and developing something that was not being done in our 13th largest city. I mean, I think that's why it's taken off so much. And it's unique. And so it serves as an encouragement to all of those who have an entrepreneurial spirit, who really want to do something, when I think about what's happened, it's out of the box. You came at it from an out of the box perspective, and it worked. And it's a blessing to not just her, but to the community. A number of young people are being impacted as well, helping people to develop their businesses. And they're with somebody who said, okay, I don't fit the norm, I'm outside the box, but it works. Because most times you get shut down before you start. You go try to, if she had said, let me go to the bank and explain this, she probably wouldn't get off the ground, right?
Yeah, I've experienced that. I have experienced that. While I have had a lot of success, I've had a lot of doors shut in my face too. Yeah. I've been left out on lawns. I went through all of that, so, and I don't regret any of it.
Well, I'm looking for the Indiana Chamber now to look at you.
Well, I actually am on the council for the Central Indiana Women's Business Center, which is part of the chamber. And what's so crazy is, just a little story real quick, but I actually worked in the file room at the Indy Chamber when I was 25. And at that time, I had a 7-year-old child, which is Brandy, who was hit by a drunken driver. And I got that assignment because I was let go of my other job because I was at Riley Hospital all the time, And so it's really ironic that 25 years later, I'm back on their council. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at God.
Yeah, ain't that something? Yeah.
Won't he, as they say, won't he do it?
That's it. That's it.
So that's my history with them.
Yeah, so the chamber looks at you now.
Yeah.
In a different light as
Well, Brandy, not Brandy. I call her your daughter.
It's her daughter. It's my daughter.
Yes, we want to say to you, thank you for coming, Sister Washington, Miss Katina, sharing with us. We're going to definitely have you back, and we know God's going to keep on blessing you. We're going to want you back to hear about the new things you're doing with the She event. We need to take a break, and then we'll be right back for our rundown.
Okay, thank you.
Let's talk about it. Real people, real voices.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, Reverend David W. Green Sr.
And I'm the co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm the producer, Curtis Baker.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Could you give us our sponsors, Curtis?
Absolutely, I can. The Concerned Clergy of Indianapolis is one of our great sponsors, the Baptist Ministers Alliance, Tamiko and Associates Realty Group, His Place Eatery, Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes, Marion County Public Health Department, Northside Window and Gutter Cleaning, the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Rodney Stepp Productions, and Lavinia and Summers Home of Funerals are our fine sponsors of Real People, Real Voices.
Well, host, you know, Dr. Green, I think when we talk about the She event, we talk about something that I see much different than others. It does not suggest women's empowerment, but it suggests women's opportunity to flex their entrepreneurial ideologies within the community and gives them the structure of how to create a business of substance.
Well, I think this entrepreneurship is critical in this day and age where so many, especially young people, don't want to be boxed in. And so she is a prototype, if you will, of doing something outside of the box to serve as an encouragement to those who have that entrepreneurial spirit. They just don't see themselves operating in a 8 to 5 in an office per se. They want to do something different. They've got a vision for it. And she's an example of what can happen. I mean, something that started small. I mean, she said started, you know, basically in a garage. And has now grown to, we're talking about something that could be part of the Indiana State Fair.
Right.
You know, that is a huge leap.
And I like the opportunity where she could, you know, was able to pivot. And I think that is so important in today's world. Particularly, I think COVID has taught us all how to pivot from one situation to another to be able to advance in the career path that you're trying to get into. And I love the way she's grown from, you know, somebody's clubhouse to a
partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the Indiana State Fair.
Absolutely.
Possibly. With a partnership, every year a
Well,
partnership.
people are looking for her now, right?
That's exactly right.
You know it didn't start that way. It didn't start that way. It's hard for you to even get somebody to answer.
Well,
and now they're calling you saying, hey, will you come and be a part of?
We want to partner with you.
Everybody wants to do that when it gets big, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, our time is up this evening. We at Real People, Real Voices want to say good evening, good night.
See you later, Aunt Jeanette.